So I had to get out of my own way, stop being afraid of who I can be, stop being a victim, learn to love myself more. Maybe it's not the gym. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's martial arts. I think that's a lot of what people don't fully think about is there's a lot of different ways that you can do something. So it's two primary things, education and access. 95% of all diseases diagnosed are metabolic. And what that means is cellular nutrition. Everything that I bring into my body that is benefiting my health, restrict all else. Everything that puts me into harmony, which is another way of saying homeostasis, alignment, restrict all else. So it's not just food, it's not just water and air, not just medications, it's also lyrics, music, media. It's also conversations that we're having right now, but it's also your internal dialogue. Your gut is dysfunctioning because of toxins or a lack of nutrition, and often both. So it's really simple. You give your body the right things it needs and the gut can heal itself. Not eat the things that cause more inflammation. So absolutely stop eating processed food, number one. Eat real food, don't buy juice, eat the fruit. Your body can naturally process EMF and radiation with vitamin C, with vitamin E, with glutathione, with melatonin. Your melatonin helps recycle your E and C, but you produce less melatonin as you age. You're not getting it from your diet. Everyone's deficient. So everyone talks about like, what's the best magnesium or get your vitamin C. No, you need all of it. Nothing works in isolation. ADHD, anxiety, depression, they all have neuro inflammation. Your brain is swelling because it's trying to drive more nutrients into it, and you have too many toxins in there causing inflammation as well. So yes, when you nourish the brain, when you nourish any cell in the body, it starts to work better.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off Topic. I'm Cam with Carlos. Today we're with Ryan Encinas.
Yeah.
Super grateful to have him on. Well versed in the medical field, medicine. I met him probably around a year ago at a dinner. Shout out Matt Worthington, bringing people together in community. But we ended up sitting by each other at the dinner, and we're getting to know each other. And he was just so interesting to talk to, was, giving me so much information, and ended up connecting from the dinner and, got each other's contact information. And then almost a year later, finally you're able to finally get a sit down with them and get to know more about what he knows, and also just tell our audience about it. And just anybody else that could see this, because I feel like a lot of stuff, and kind of, the people that are around you and supporting what you're trying to do, it needs to be heard and told. So excited to get to talk to you for a little bit, and just kind of get to know more in depth about just the vast knowledge that you have. So
I appreciate that, and thank you, Matt, Leo, for putting that on.
Yes, absolutely. Leo as well. Yes,
and you're a busy man. It's a good problem to have. Likewise, so all in time and all is divine. It's a year later, but here we are.
Yes,
absolutely.
I appreciate you taking time out your day, like he said. Was the dinner y'all met at when when they had Zeke?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zeke was a caterer. And I'd invited Bash to that one too. Sebastian. Did you meet Sebastian?
I did.
Yeah. So I invited Sebastian to that one just to kind of meet some people and stuff. And yeah, it was good.
Real estate, right?
Yeah. Real estate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was good. I mean, good community, and it was great. So
do you like the Zeke?
Yeah.
I still have yet to have it. I've been wanting to try it. I saw their food stand on when I went to what's her name's little get together, redhead girl.
Oh, Blair,
yes. Yeah. And I saw it on whatever that road is, but I'm from Austin, but I don't know roads. I don't go out much. I don't explore much, so I don't know roads. I really been work one time, me and my friend, and he was like, he's from El Paso and he moved here 2021. He was like, dude, you've been here longer than me, and I know how to get to more places than you do. I was like, man, bro, I stay on this side of town and that's it. Anywhere around Rock, I can get you there.
Nice.
But jumping into it, Ryan, just kind of give us an overview of who you are and kind of what has led you to where you're at today.
Yeah. Well, Ryan Encinas. I'm a nurse and surgical assistant, and I've held a lot of different jobs. I've been a medical director of surgical services for a private surgical hospital. I've done medical sales for spine implants, and I've participated and assisted in just about every type of surgery you could think of, except for cardiac and vascular. So brain, neuro, spine, joint replacement, rotator cuff, pediatric versions of all of those, GYN, plastics, ear, nose, and throat, like you name it, the whole gamble. And I basically was always fascinated in biology. So I was the kid that grew up and watched PBS and Jacques Cousteau and all these like nature, National Geographic stuff, and just fascinated by how the world worked. So my background's also psychology. That was all my minors, whereas in psych and sociology, because it's all connected, you know. And I basically got deep into biohacking and started helping out my surgeons, my doctors, the medical staff with their health problems without medication, with supplementation, with food, because nature's technology is the medicine. There's nothing smarter than nature. I mean, this body, this mind is the most complex thing in the entire universe. And then I got out of my own way. I realized that I had a voice and I needed to speak up. So got into my own consulting and coaching business, went back to school to understand biochemistry and cell function, even a little bit of genetics. And all the while working on myself because I was in my own way. Mm-hmm. So learning how to manage stress, focus on my triggers, radical ownership, and then putting my message to the world. It's time to help educate and fix our broken healthcare system. But it's not just the healthcare system. It's our mental health. It's greed. It's a spiritual warfare thing. And now that's my mission, is tying it all together in ways that's easily to digest for anyone, because they're complex topics, but they're really not that complex. That's the whole mythos, is the whole, systems of control, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. It all profits off of your sickness, whether that's mental or physical. So now that's where I'm at, is teaching physicians, teaching health coaches, teaching health businesses, and teaching my audience about simple, effective, validated ways that you can improve your mental and physical health.
What was it that made you get out of your own way and start helping people all around the world learn this information?
It was a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it was courage. At the end of the day, we're all in our own way. No one's a victim. Things are going to happen in life. Animals get hit, eaten, wounded. You can't stop things from happening to you, and we can't live in a bubble. But it was that shift in my mentality to say that I'm not a victim. If I want these things in life, I have to go out there and get them, period. No one's going to do it for me. No one's going to save me. No one's going to make me healthier. No one's going to help me work on my triggers and my emotion and my own self-sabotage. It was me. I was in my own way. We all are. It's a really hard pill to swallow. And there were parts of who I am and how I was that I didn't like. And so I had to really sit with that and say that there was an intense conversation I had with myself, because I accidentally had too many edibles one day. I thought they were like hemp, mm-hmm. like at a Tom's Market or a little bodega or mm-hmm. store. And I thought it was just hemp. And I didn't know what Delta 9 was. Mm-hmm. Had 4 full doses.
Wow.
And I was walking into Home Depot, had a little hangover because I had a beer the day before and I had a headache. And I was like, oh yeah, a little hemp gummy is no big deal. Had no idea what I was doing. And then I started to feel funny. I was like, I can't find anything in this hardware store, and I got to go. This doesn't mm-hmm. feel right. Looked at my package. It was 4 full doses. Do not drive or operate heavy machinery. And for the next 5 hours, I had the most uncomfortable 3-way experience with myself. It was observation, like me observing myself, talk to myself. And it was myself saying, hey, Ryan, you really got to stop messing up. Can you cuss on this thing?
Yeah.
Really got to stop fucking up.
Yeah.
You're treating women wrong. You're not dating nice. Mm-hmm. And you're just in your own way. Mm-hmm. And then my other self was just being like, yeah, man, you're right. Mm-hmm. You really need to I know I got to stop. Mm-hmm. I couldn't avoid that conversation. I tried to watch TV, listen to music, do anything, but I was trapped higher than I've ever been in my life. And that was probably one of the deepest spiritual and cathartic experiences I've had. And I've had a lot of others, but that was the main thing. And I think that ties into any spiritual message. It doesn't matter what religion you are. To me, they're all like food choices. Do you like Chinese? Do you like Asian? Do you like African? Do you like South American? What flavor do you enjoy? But the same spiritual message from all religion is to unlearn fear and to learn love yourself more and then others, because we need community. So I had to get out of my own way, stop being afraid of who I can be, stop being a victim, learn to love myself more. And now I have more capacity to help others.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all kind of go through that in different avenues of our life. Like right now, I think mine would be like going to the gym, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
I just have to go. Like you just got to build up the courage and just go to the gym, because it's easy to like you were doing like listen to music or watching TV to not have this conversation. It's easy to just make an excuse not to go to the gym. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to us whether if we do it or not. And it's same thing with this. Like it was up to us if we want to do this or not. And we built up the courage to sit in front of a camera, hit record and post it. It sounds easy, but it's hard, but it is very easy.
I would have never been in front of a camera 2 years ago, never. And that was part of my shift, was connecting my throat to my heart. I have something to say, and I'm passionate about helping people. That's why I got into the medical field and figured out I wasn't helping people. I was just part of this system that perpetuates and is greedy and is for profit off of sickness. And I wanted to stop just being an armchair quarterback about it and say, you know what, I have something to do. I can contribute. I can help people. And then how I can help people in a much larger way. But yeah, like back to your message about like, you just got to go to the gym. Maybe it's not the gym. Maybe it's dancing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's martial arts. I think that's a lot of what people don't fully think about is there's a lot of different ways that you can do something. So it's two primary things, education and access. There's a lot of different things that work for a lot of different people, but figuring it out, you got to fuck around and find out. See what you like. See what flavor of food is you feeling today. Some people that's the gym, but some people it's not. Some people it's pickleball.
Yeah.
They find a sport. I was a competitive semi-pro beach volleyball player. I fell in love with that sport. I was a swimmer growing up, and I don't like to swim as much anymore because I've hit it too hard. So something that worked for me 20 years ago doesn't work for me now. Something that worked for me 10 years ago doesn't work for me now. Something that worked for me 5 years ago doesn't work for me now. I used to squat 400 pounds, bench press over 300, deadlift 500 pounds. Now I move my body like a gymnast. And I do body weight and worried more about flexibility, mobility. And like, can I do a pistol squat, ass to grass? Now I can do one holding an 80-pound kettlebell. It's a different type of functional strength because I just began to grow and evolve and learn to move my way in a way that's more fun to bring out the play in me.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. That makes sense because it's like when you go to the gym, like you're working out and whatnot, but like we go play basketball. Like you don't look at it as working out. You're like having fun.
It's an activity.
Yeah, doing it with your friends and like messing around, but you're still being active. You're still burning all these calories and it's still a good workout for you.
Move your body. Yeah. Tennis players have like one of the longest health lifespans because the hand-eye coordination, explosive sport, you're outside. You don't play tennis inside. You're outside. So you're getting sunlight, you're getting fresh air, you're interacting with nature and these immune response literally from trees that make your immune system stronger. And that's why I love volleyball because I was outside and there were women in bikinis too. That helped a little bit. But, out there in the sunshine, running around, sweating, jumping, explosive. And it was fun. It was just finding something that was fun. We all get so caught up in the do. I got discipline and regimen. It's like, well, make some time for play. It's just as important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100% too. And just like going from that mindset of, once you got that courage, once you were able to kind of build that up, what were some of like the first steps you started to take to, once you went back to school, kind of learned more additional knowledge? What were some of those next steps that you took to start getting the word out to people and communicating that with people?
That's a really good question. I think I'm no different because we're all human. I think what we do is we learn something and we get excited about it and we want to shout it off the top of a mountain, right? So that's when I finally got up the courage to be on camera and start making content. I would spend 5 hours on a 90-second reel.
Yep.
And it took forever. Can't repeat that on the regular, but I had to learn, had to start somewhere. And I was tying in some really complex topics. Like one time I tied in hypothalamic emotional theory, placebo effect, and epigenetics. Basically how you feel emotions physically. We all have had that sunken heart feeling from emotional pain, losing someone, a relationship, something, But then placebo is, we all know what that is. your ability to change your physiology with thought. That's the definition of placebo. You know how crazy that is? That you can literally change your ability, like to get through a sickness or perceived moment of pain.
Yeah.
Epigenetics is your ability to do that, where one gene, you are not your genes. You know, people say, oh, my diabetes runs in my family, cancer runs in my family. What runs in your family is not moving your body and eating unhealthy and not knowing how to manage your stress. Epigenetics is the ability to change your gene expression. One gene can have 200 different expressions. So only 25% of your experience is genetic. The other 75% is influenced by how you manage stress, what you put in your body. Every single bite of food or supplement is doing two things. It's either fighting disease or feeding it, period. Everything. It's all, we try to make it so complicated, but it's not.
It makes sense because I mean, not to be rude, but you see heavier set families and they'll talk about, oh, I'm diabetic or diabetes runs in my family. And I mean, that's why. And then like his family has always been healthy ever since I've known him.
Yeah.
And then I've never heard of diabetes or cancer in his family at all.
Yeah.
But like you look at other people who are unhealthy, it happens in their families. I mean, and it's in mine.
It doesn't help that the doctor tells them that too.
Like kind of just like when you do the blood work and all the things you think you're supposed to go do, you think you're taking care of it and learning about it, but then that's kind of, I feel like what feeds, you know, the system is like, okay, we just prescribe this person with this, prescribe this person with this, they take this. Does it cure it? I don't know, but that's kind of like it seems like the system. It's like you diagnose, prescribe, and then that's what feeds the system of the ecosystem of profit and whatnot.
100%. It's if you have diabetes, you're seeing a doctor for that. If you have Alzheimer's, you're seeing a doc for that. If you're overweight, if you have low hormones, all segmented into different things. They're all the same thing at the cell level. 95% of all diseases diagnosed are metabolic. And what that means is cellular nutrition. We're all starving at the cellular level. We have this explosion of disease. We have children with fatty liver. You just had high schoolers have 500% increase of SSRI antidepressants prescriptions in the past 5 years. Like, that's insane. We're in the sickest era of humanity, and we're the sickest country out of all of them. Of 38 most profitable, wealthy countries on the planet, first world countries, we have the worst health.
And why do you think that is with like America?
Short answer is greed, because every single institution, from the National Health Institution to the FDA, they all have conflicts of interest. Everything's lobbied, which means paid for. So everyone who's making a decision on what a clinical guideline has conflicts of interest. Big food and big pharma, what makes you sick and what profits off of managing your chronic condition. You said the word cure earlier. I can't legally say the word cure because I'm not using medications or surgery. That happened in 1909. We're going off of over 100-year-old study of one of the wealthiest man's lawyers called the Flexner Report, taking every natural part out of medicine, saying that holistic care or treatment with food is now known as pseudoscience, as quackery. And that has been disseminated down into the entire health system, our food system. Modern farming didn't feed millions. We have more people starving today than ever on the planet. And it's our food and the chemicals we grow our food with that are known carcinogens that are being shipped to us from other countries. So it's greed. That's what it boils down to. And when a doctor has zero nutritional training, they're not even taught the importance of the circadian rhythm. That when you go outside, you have photons hit your retina that enact hormonal responses of all these body functions. We are diurnal creatures. We're supposed to be outside. So those kids going on SSRIs, no one's talking to them about, are you outside? Are you playing tennis or volleyball? Are you moving your body? Are you getting outside? What are you eating? They have zero nutritional training because it's about profits. The single most profitable commodity in the entire U.S. You want to guess what it is? I mean, take a guess. Diamonds, oil, like anything.
I mean, probably gotta be like food.
Food? That's a good guess. Yeah. Invest. I mean, anything's on the table here.
Health. I mean, doctor diagnosis. I don't know.
So the single thing that makes the most money in America is a sick child. Lifelong treatments, lifelong appointments, lifelong prescriptions. I like to say prescription subscription. Just a subscription.
Yeah.
And no medication ever replaces nutrition. Nature's technology is the smartest thing. This is the most beautiful, most intelligent, invention of the world, and we'll never fully understand it. We like to think that we are, and we say these things. Just like how medicine breaks down into all these different segments. You see a GYN doctor, you see a hormone specialist, you see an orthopedic doctor, but at the cell level, they're just starving. We call it a different name and have to name it a different disease so we can bill for it. And that's how they make money with it. But when there's something going on with your eyes, those eyes aren't getting nutrients that they need. There's something going on with your thyroid or your liver or your gut. They're not getting nutrients that they need, so they're starting to be dysfunctional. That's what metabolic is. So when we talk about lab values, there's no science anywhere in the world that did one test and then definitively said, this is now this. You take multiple data points, always. You gotta get your numbers right, and you're only getting your labs once a year. Most of those labs can change in hours. And then the other labs that can't change in hours, they're looking for infection. They're looking for organ function, stressing enzymes that come out for like cardiac enzymes, kidney enzymes, liver enzymes. But all that means is really downstream because they're trained to give you a drug. And guess what those drugs are based off of? Natural botanical compounds. But you can't patent nature. So I can't say the word cure, but I can say increases cell function. Or I can say organ function with a natural thing. That's valid inside, and I won't get shut down by the FTC or FDA.
Yeah.
But I have to be really tricky about what I say when I go on like a big show or something like that, is I can't say the word cure because only medication, synthetic medication, and a surgery. You cut it out or you give a medication that causes more side effects, and now you're feeding the whole system.
Because that was something I always thought about, prescriptions, right? They hand out prescriptions. It's supposed to, cure, I guess I'm using it right now, supposed to cure like whatever sickness or ailments you have going on. But then there's people that are on the same medication for 15, 20 years or the rest of their life when they finally get diagnosed something. And then like you were saying, it'll cause potential other side effects, which causes you to have to get on something to deal with those side effects. And then it's just a cycle. And then now you're having, to go to CVS for like 7 different products when you initially got diagnosed for one thing.
Yeah.
And it does make sense. It's just like a cycle of, because the average person that, they think they're going to the right resource, right? They're going to the doctor, they're going to their physician or whatever. And then they're getting diagnosed with these things. Then they take the medication and then they're like, okay, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to because I'm taking what, was told, what I was told to take. Yeah. But then it just kind of lingers, and then just like the kind of robotic nature of America, it's just like, well, I'm doing the right thing. Like I'm taking what I'm supposed to take. Like, and it's hard. I feel like it's hard to tell someone that if you start changing other things outside of, just relying on the medicine, then you could completely get off the medicine.
100%.
That's, I still always, everybody always has to force me to go to the doctor because I don't like going to the doctor. Yeah. One, because I always going to tell you something you want to hear. Two is just because of, that reason right there is like, I've always felt like you get on medication and it doesn't, I've just always felt like it doesn't really do anything. They just want to make money. And pharmaceuticals is one of the highest, earnings and money, I guess you could say.
Yep. Highest funding of the media, highest funding of every single healthy, like the American Heart Association, the Diabetes Association, the Pediatrics Association, the largest funder of all of those.
Yeah, and then they can make these drugs in the lab and put whatever they want to put in them, and then they just get passed, and it's like, here, take this. Then you go to the store, and it's like, okay, with your insurance, it's $3.29. And you take that for a whole 30 days. Yeah. And then you go back $3.29, and it's just like you just keep putting this in your body, and then it's like the same thing with dogs. Like all the pharmacies make all the dog food.
Yeah.
Because they just want you to take
Dogs
your
have
dog
more cancer now than ever. Yeah.
to the vet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can make more money. And I feel like it's just the same way as humans. You just keep taking these prescriptions just so they can keep making money.
Yeah. And it's not their fault. They're trained that way.
Yeah.
They took the brightest minds and even scientists. They have to be a prostitute to a degree, because to get a grant to do a study, you have to study something that the people that have the money want to give you the money to study. So it's just, what degree of prostitution are you going to be? And some people go all the way. And that's why you see, it's very confusing for the people, right? You see people saying, oh, seed oil is not that bad for you. Or this thing in processed food is not that bad for you. They've been paid. That's how you know. When there's definitive science saying that these things are harmful and banned in other countries, but we allow them here. I just learned that there's no regulation. If a company for a food product, they can put in what other chemical they want. They have nothing stopping them from doing anything. They have to, it's a really reactionary thing. They have to then do a study later on if there's a like Red 40 is getting a lot of thing, like Kellogg's makes it differently in every other country, but puts this known carcinogen in American kids' food with Disney pictures on the box to attract them. It's disgusting.
Yeah. And that, I was going to ask, is the people who make the pharmaceutical stuff, are they like the same people who make the food? I guess the non-healthy food, I should say.
Two different industries.
Okay, because it's like
when you
go to the gas station, right?
Yeah.
And you see on sale, which majority of the time it is on sale, 2 for $4 for 2 Dr. Peppers.
Right.
But you see the water's $3.29. It's like, well, I'm just gonna go for that. Then you have like McDonald's or Wendy's.
It's cheaper.
Whataburger, it's cheaper, and then they also have the deals to entice you, like the 2 for $4, or like the
it costs
99-cent cheeseburger, like stuff like that.
It costs more to farm and make real food, a potato, tomatoes, steak, all this stuff, than it does to make processed food. And that's by the government, because they were paid by big food and big pharma. It's cheaper. Why do you think food stamps have the worst food for you?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not healthy food. It has, like you're saying, they're incentivized. That's the largest, fastest growing business in America is healthcare. And think about, it's not just healthcare, it's also insurance. And then it's the food system that makes you sick.
Yeah, and that's why I asked if they were tied together, is because you eat this food, you feel bad, and then you go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And do this, do this,
It's
do
a
this.
cycle.
They go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, do they play a part? So what about
it's like peanut butter and jelly. It makes a really good sandwich. A complete meal. It's a brilliant system.
Yes. And then I haven't read too much on it, but Bill Gates, all his meat is lab grown meat. I hear lab grown, I'm just like, that's not okay.
When you Google him, he comes up as a scientist. He's a philanthropist. He's not a scientist.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you have someone giving advice for the entire world about things that impact our health, who is not a specialist in any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I see that, and I think...
Why does he own so much land? He owns more farmland than anyone in America.
Really?
Did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that.
He was one of the largest investors in our controversial jabs. Made a lot of money on that too.
Yeah, he's that's why I asked about it, because he's a businessman at the end of the day. He wants to make money. That's just what that's what he is.
And this is where the spiritual warfare side comes into it. When you realize that nutrition, or anything you put into your mouth, is a genetic instruction, right, to fight or feed disease. So everything that you put in, but the word diet actually means everything that I bring into my body that is benefiting my health, restrict all else. Everything that puts me into harmony, which is another way of saying homeostasis, alignment, restrict all else. So it's not just food, it's not just water and air, it's not just medications, it's also lyrics, music, media. It's also conversations that we're having right now, but it's also your internal dialogue. I get that question a lot. What's your diet, Ryan? What do you eat? Like my diet's different than yours because this is what serves me. The music I like is different than the music you like because it's what serves me. But it would be really boring if we all liked the same thing. You know, variety is beautiful, and we need a garden ecosystem.
Yeah. That was one of the things he told me when y'all were sitting at the dinner. He was like, they tell you to eat vegetables, but like you have to find out which vegetables like work with you.
Mm-hmm. And that's tricky because it's for now. Pretty much everyone has some sort of gut dysbiosis, something going on with their gut. All health boils down to a toxic environment outside or inside. And you can apply that to emotions, physically, to music and media, to the drama you participate in life. But from a nutrition standpoint, your gut is dysfunctioning because of toxins or a lack of nutrition, and often both, because that's what we deal with. So it's really simple. You give your body the right things it needs, and the gut can heal itself. And your gut affects everything. It affects your blood sugar. It affects your cognition. It affects your skin. It affects everything. Think of it like a filter in your house or your car, right? It catches all that debris. And imagine you had a bunch of holes in your filtration system. A lot of stuff would get through, and then you'd be breathing it. Well, you breathing it, that's your blood. So this food, these vegetables that you're eating, they're getting through all these holes that everyone has because they have an unhealthy gut. That's what leaky gut is. It's gap junction. It's holes, it's spaces between the cells that are supposed to absorb everything. And that's a 1 cell layer thick lining of your small intestine. One of the most important organs in your body. Also the largest, it's not your skin. It would cover an entire tennis court and a half. 1 cell thick layer lining. That's your entire relationship between the outside world, what you put in your body, and what becomes a part of your body, because food becomes a part of you. We don't just use it. It's not like fuel, we burn it. It literally becomes a part of every cell. So you have holes in your filter. So stuff gets through and your body's like, whoa, 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 too much broccoli. I can't handle that. Too much chicken. It's getting right into your blood system. That's an autoimmune disease. That's when your body is like, hey, there's too much circulating in my blood of this thing because it didn't go through your filter system. It wasn't processed by your body like it's supposed to. It went through all these holes. That's what leaky gut is. That's what gut dysbiosis is.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that.
So like, how would you go about kind of reversing that and fixing that?
You would not eat the things that cause more inflammation. So absolutely stop eating processed food, number one. Like eat real food, don't buy juice, eat the fruit. Make your own juice if you're gonna do it. But it's interesting. It's these universal laws. Like, you know, the Fibonacci sequence, the spiral, it's the same ratio that's in the Milky Way galaxy, that's in the spiral of your toilet when you flush it, that's in the spiral of a snail shell, it's in the spiral of a new leaf. They're all mathematically the exact same because nature's amazing. God's amazing, whatever you want to call it. So universal truth of rust, that's oxidative stress, that's inflammation. And what we're doing is removing all these synthetic things to give your body more of the natural things. The earth is 72% water. Your food should also be 72% water. And America has a very dry diet. But when you're eating fruit, you're eating vegetables, making your own juice, fruit is like 90% water. That's how you hydrate. Other countries, like most of Asia or India, it's all the same continent of Asia, all their food and their science that's been studied for thousands of years has more soups and curries that are blends of herbs that are super medicinal. So in China, they have what's called an anthocyanin daily allotment. Anthocyanin is a crazy word that just means dark purple pigment. You've had black rice before or seen it, or like a beet or a dark cherry or berry. Black currant, the spice. That anthocyanin is the pigment that makes it that color. China has a daily recommended amount of anthocyanin. Why? Because it fixes leaky gut. It closes the gap junction. So for me, I tell my clients or train my doctors to say, eat real food, stop eating things that are inflammatory, no processed food, and basically nothing packaged. It's actually cheaper. It's cheaper to go to the farmer's market or to just buy potatoes, onions, carrots, beets, and batch cook it. It's cheaper. But then there's an anthocyanin extract supplement that's listed in the physician's desk reference book that is clinically validated beginning at 12 weeks to close gap junction. This is different for everyone because you don't know how much toxin and how deficient they are. Imagine the cell shrivels up like a raisin. So you need to plump it back up to close the gap junction. Anthocyanin extract does that.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
And that makes sense because, I mean, if you look at them, Asians just always live for a long time.
They do.
And it's one, because of the way they eat, and then two, because they are outside all the time and getting the nutrients they need from nature.
Community, culture. You know, we separate in America. How many of us still have our parents in the same house or around? Or you're taught I'm about to have my first child, so many people separate and put the kid in the nursery. It's so important to be with that child for as long as possible. We don't take care of our family. Other cultures do. Immigrants that move to this country, they stick together.
Yep.
They have grandma around. I want my child's grandparents to be around. We need community. Other cultures have that too. In America, it's like, get the kids out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you always see when they go to stores, they're in a group.
Yeah.
They bring the whole family with them to go anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a big part because, I mean, that's one of the biggest things, and it is true in America. We have I would say probably the highest divorce rate, and that just splits a family up, whether the kid's young or the kid's old enough to understand. Yeah. Either way, they're going to pick a side.
Yeah.
So you have the Hollistic Hub.
Right.
Kind of what got you to get to the point to where you were like, okay, I know all this information. Now let me start formulating it to where I can, share it with my clients, share it with, doctors you work with and things like that.
Yeah, it was education and access. Is we need more education to all these different modalities that work. This is old lineage knowledge. This is new knowledge. It's an amazing time to be alive because we have so much access to the world. And people need to understand there's a lot of different ways to heal. Nutrition's a foundational thing. Every human needs proteins. Every human needs antioxidants. Every human needs healthy fats and amino acids. There's a lot of different ways to do that. I don't judge if you're vegetarian or not, or omnivore. There's a healthy way to do it all. But people need access to that information instead of being so dogmatic and fighting about what diet is right. And it goes the same with all these other modalities. I have friends that are traditional Chinese medicine docs. I have friends that are shamans. I have friends that are genetic specialists. I have friends that are surgeons. So there's a different time and a place for all this stuff, but people need access to learn what these things are because our health information is under attack. It's under attack because I can't talk about fixing your type 2 diabetes or your cardiac disease or your Alzheimer's or improving symptoms with food and get shut down. I can't name those diseases. I can talk about the cell function of those diseases. I have to jump through hoops. So that's the mission, is to educate people on the types of modalities. What is traditional Chinese medicine, doc? What is Reiki? What is a shaman? What is a functional medicine doc? What is a Czech practitioner? There's all these different things. So then there's a glossary of types of practitioners, a glossary of different modalities. What's a PMF mat? What's a hyperbaric chamber? What's a sauna? What's a salt room? What's the science behind those things? How would I know unless someone was giving that information? You don't know. If you walk into a restaurant, there's no menu. You don't know what's on the menu.
It's true.
You have to see what's on the menu, and the entire system is not showing you what's on the menu. They're pushing you towards something that causes more side effects for profit. I like to say stress as an acronym. Systems that reinforce economic suffering and sickness. That's what we live in. That's the matrix. And then I like to use a holistic shift. Holistic is looking at the whole body. It's looking at our beliefs, our self-limiting beliefs, our nutrition, your emotional health. And it's a shift. You don't run a marathon in the first day, right? You don't bench press 315 on the first day. You have to work at it and train at it. Our mental health is no different. Our cellular health is no different. So shift is stress harmonizing insights for transformation. That stress can be at the cellular level with that gut problem. That stress can be your relationship problem. Why am I dating the same girl every time and expecting a different result? Because I don't realize I'm choosing my own drama. The stress can be with your belief system too. Do you believe in love? Do you believe in gratitude? Do you believe in compassion? What are you still afraid of?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I also said it on the podcast with Cooper, the biggest thing for like Americans is we're lazy. So like,
I don't think we're lazy.
well, when it comes to,
I don't think a child wants to be lazy. I don't think.
I think when it comes to like being healthy, we don't want to read. We don't want to like turn the can around to look at the ingredients. We don't want to have to go through hoops and hurdles to find like what is the correct way, what is the correct thing to eat, or what is the correct way to.
I think that's conditioning. I think there's a difference. I think when you ask a child, they don't want to be sick.
Yeah.
A child wants to play. They want to move their body. They want to explore. They want to learn things. Parents condition our children. Conditioning. What does TV stand for?
Television.
Break down that word. Vision. And what do you call shows?
TV shows.
Programming.
All programs. Yeah.
Television programming. If you say something enough to someone, they believe it. So all of medicine says what you just said. The American people are lazy. They're not lazy. They're told they're lazy their entire life. They're told that they're going to be unhealthy. They're told that it's just a matter of time before you get diabetes. They're told it's just a matter of time before you get Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, cardiac disease. They don't tell you that medications, prescription medical error is the third leading cause of death. America is 5% of the global population, but America consumes 70% of all pharmaceuticals made.
Wow, that's crazy.
We're one of 2 countries that are allowed to advertise medications on TV. So I don't think the people are lazy at all. I think we're conditioned and told in every step of the way. Look at every dating show, more and more obese people. All the models got more and more obese. The blood sugar lab values, the testosterone lab values get changed every couple years to accommodate a more sick society because of profit. No one's lazy inherently.
And it also makes sense too because of the ad that they put on in between the shows talking about
diarrhea, bleeding out of your butt, cardiac stroke, and they're all like playing and dancing, and it's like list of side effects may include.
Yeah.
Food doesn't have a side effect. You don't have a side effect from eating an apple. You don't have a side effect from eating that black rice. You don't have a side effect from eating real natural food. Yes, there's like some chemicals in food and you try to avoid those when possible, but everything's in balance. It's your health is a state of balance. Being healthy is the most natural, God-given right to any human being. It's inherent. A tree grows. An animal lives. If you take an animal out of the sunlight and you play, frequencies and songs and sounds that are disruptive to that animal, they're going to get sick. You feed it food that it's not used to eating. We've done more to our food and our environment in the last 100 years than we've done at any other time in history. And look how much is normalized on the psychological side. Listen to the lyrics of the songs. It's all about drama. It's all about messed up relationships. Or it's all about, I make more money than you, fuck off. Mm-hmm. Like there's no way that's good for you to hear. Like I laugh. It's like if I'm working in surgery and I'm up early, so I'm like on the road at 5:30 sometimes, and I pull up to a stoplight and someone's listening to some hype music, and I'm just like, but it's some dark shit. Yeah. I'm like, that's what you want to listen to at 5:30 in the morning? Mm-hmm. There's no way that's good for you on repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've even gotten to that point too with music too. Like, only listen to certain things that are like more so like what I'm experiencing in life, or just like stuff I want to hear. Yeah. And I feel you. And I think that comes with like age too. Cause like you have like the younger generation, the younger crowd, like you're saying, conditioning, like these, like you're kind of conditioned to listen to this. If you're not cool, and then on TV, like you're seeing certain things. I mean, football is a prime example. Like there's this ad that recently with Matthew McConaughey, and he's talking about, oh, we watch football games, they're always showing food commercials and stuff like that. And he's kind of saying it in the commercial, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, dang, during the football season and the fall season, like you're watching the game, commercial comes on, Wingstop ad, Pizza Stop, Dr. Pepper, like nonstop. And then, if you're watching the game, most of these people are like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Pick up the phone, order something. it's super convenient now with Uber Eats or
Yeah.
delivery. So
Convenience.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was another thing I said on the pod with Matt is convenience. That's why we like all these apps, because it's convenient. We don't have to do much. We want to do things as fast as we can. Just I want it now.
Quick answer, right?
Yeah.
Medication.
I'm with him. I personally just don't even really listen to music anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't like listened to music. Well, I'll listen to music like on a road trip or whatnot. But I've been typically just like listening
that hurts my heart, man.
to podcasts.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
Music's important for the soul.
So I'll listen to like I don't know if you know him. His name's Mike. I'll listen to Mike. I really just don't listen to like much rap music anymore.
Yeah.
If I do, it's the 2000s.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like that's. I always tell him I feel like it's the best generation of quote unquote rap music. Yeah. It just seems happier.
Top 3 go.
The people back then.
Yeah.
Man, Lil Wayne. That is tough. I'm gonna go later, so probably like Lil Wayne, Kid Cudi, and
Nice.
probably Kanye. Those 3. Later 2000s, but still all the 2000s, like Akon, Plies, like just all of them, Chingy.
There's some really
Chameleonaire.
good. Oh yeah, I'm from H-Town, so I grew up in LA and H-Town.
Okay.
Don't let the smooth flavor fool you. Like I grew up breakdancing from the streets. I had bullet holes in the mailbox. It was an interesting place to grow up.
That's Zero, Chameleonaire, Flip. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
But like the radio hits, I just felt like that time frame was just happier. Like the music
A little bit more
was just
innocence.
happier.
For sure. Yeah.
But
there's good spiritual rap now too. Like there are artists out there that you just have to find them.
Yeah.
And but more than happy to share some stuff that's wild. It's like they're lyrically just as gifted, doing verbal acrobatics, talking about positive things. But music's so important.
You can go ahead. You finish your thought.
Every culture around the world throughout all history has chorus. We sing a song together, or we say a chant together. That works on your parasympathetic nervous system. That calms your vagal nerve. When you have poor vagal tone, you have more anxiety, depression. We're designed to interact with song and music and sing. That's why every religion does it also. And your vagal nerve, your tone, to improve tone, is amplified the more people that you sing with. And every long exhale, breath work is putting your body into parasympathetic state, a calm state. That's why they teach snipers to do this and do long exhales, a 2-second inhale and a 6-second exhale. Or you can simply hum, literally just hum as long as you can every breath for about 30 seconds, put you in a calm state. So that's why it hurts my heart, because we're designed to interact with sound and frequency. Everything's frequency. And we're literally, all of nature is designed. You feel more calm when you listen to birds. You feel more calm when you listen to that 2000 music because you had a good.
That's why people like the sound of the ocean and rain.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't say I don't listen to music anymore, just the newer age. Because that's primarily what I listen to is rap. Mm-hmm. I guess not anymore. I guess it's more of alternative, I guess you would say. Yeah. Alternative and lo-fi.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to listen to. I don't really listen to like the new age rap anymore. Yeah. I do listen to rap. It's the people I named, or early 2000s, just because like I guess he's like you just get older, you mature. Like I don't want to listen to how much money you have. Some of us,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wanted to go back on that because you said wisdom. You said older, wiser, but it's not necessarily true.
That is true.
I know some 50-year-olds that are still damn fools. Yeah. Out at the club still and like all kinds of stuff.
That's true.
I'd say age does not necessitate wisdom.
That's true.
And the universe will give you the same lesson over and over and over again until you decide to grow.
Yeah, that's true. Why they you learn from mistakes.
And product of your environment too. Like if you're constantly doing the same thing, constantly going out, you're going to be constantly putting in those environments. And then like, I can't speak on all of us, but like me and him specifically, like focusing on what we're trying to do with this, the building the community aspect. When we get that time on the weekends, it's like, we want to relax or we want to like pour more into this as opposed to kind of entertaining and doing these things. And once you've been away from it for, a good amount of time, when you do, occasionally do stuff, because I, feel like everything's good in moderation, right? But when you occasionally go do certain things, it's like, man, I see why I don't go out anymore. Or I see like why I like to go out maybe at like 8 or 9, have a few drinks, and then be home by 11 o'clock, right? So
not mess up my circadian rhythm.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I grew up breakdancing. I love dancing. Have y'all ever been to ecstatic dance? It's like a sober EDM festival for all ages.
Really?
And it starts off with something like your lo-fi. It starts off with really calm, meditative stuff. And they talk to you about it. They're like, hey, this is a safe place. You can express yourself. If someone doesn't want to dance with you, all they have to say is, no, thank you. Or if they want to stop dancing with you, they just put their hands together and say, good. Doesn't mean bye forever. Just, I want to feel myself. I'm here to express and just move my body. It's another fun way to, like, I'm covered in sweat when I leave that. But it's like no shoes, no phones, no nothing. And it's church. It's hippie church. It's where do you go to move your body, and music that makes you feel something that's positive. And part of that positive is a release. It builds you up to some crazy shit, like, and then it brings you back down, like a good show. It's like, so they put on really, really good music. I highly suggest you both experience it for yourself one time. It's donation based. Okay. And I think it's like $10 to $20, whatever you want to donate. That's cool. It's like a 2-hour thing. Amazing experience. And you'll see children, you'll see old-timers, solid gray hair shuffling to some EDM music. And it's like, this is amazing.
That's cool. Yeah, so I like I said, I shouldn't say I don't listen to music. I just don't listen to the current music that is made today, just because I'm like, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear how much money you have, or even the amount of girls you get, or all the jewelry. I'm like, I don't.
Even with some of our favorite artists, like we grew up listening to them, but we were at different mindsets then, and even now, like. There gets to a certain point, Drake, for example, it's like, we don't want to hear about, this girl you slept with that no one knows about. And this girl, like, kind of want to hear some stuff with like some substance at a certain point to where it's like, and I look back at a lot of these artists, like Drake in specific, I'll listen to like a lot of his older music, and they come up when he was like hungrier, talking about like kind of the grind life stuff, as opposed to where he's at like this untouchable status. And he really has nothing to talk about besides just like his day-to-day, which is crazy, but like, just day-to-day occurrences and things like that. But wanted to talk about this machine.
I was going to do that too, because you have it sitting here.
Because you brought this machine, and I was kind of like doing some reading on you prior today, but you mentioned off camera how this can measure you for 60 to 90 days of, your cells and things like that. And we had even talked earlier on the podcast when we were talking about blood work, how you're saying a lot of it changes, right? You go annually, but really a lot of it could change within the day, within the week and things like that. So kind of talk us through like what this is, what it does, and your plans with it.
So this device right here, it's called the BioPhotonic Scanner. There's a laser right here, and you simply put your hand on it, and it's attached to a phone or tablet, and it's going to measure your antioxidants for 60 to 90 days. And why that matters? Because every single diagnosis you can look at and see that low antioxidants increase risk for that disease. Remember, all disease, 95% of all disease diagnosis are metabolic from cellular starvation. So the antioxidants that we're measuring literally protect the cell, or the first line defense for the cell, but they're also how the cell is nourished, how everything gets into the cell. The cell is covered in receptor sites. It's like a door. And everything that you eat, every protein, every mineral, every vitamin, every antioxidant, they all fit into a certain door and go inside the cell through the membrane. So it's literally how the cell eats. So everyone talks about mitochondrial health, mitochondrial energy. They make the power for the cell. That's great, super important. But if that mitochondria is not getting fed, it can't do its job. So this test is a lie detector on your diet. Are you getting enough of what every cell in your body needs? So it will incentivize people. Now you have a test and you can see, I'm not getting enough. I need to change something about my lifestyle. And you can also supplement. But there's only one supplement company on the planet that is guaranteed 100% to change a lab value. And it's the same company that bought the patent to the device. We didn't make the device. The NIH made the device. It's a $100 million project. It's beyond validated. It's more accurate than a blood test. This is measuring 60 to 90 days of antioxidant levels inside your cells. So it'll change. If you're at a doctor's office, it's like a vital sign. It's a 30-second test, and it'll tell you where you're at. You're already taking your blood pressure. You're taking your temperature, your weight, the little thing that measures your oxygen. It's also the same technology that's in this laser. It's just a different frequency measuring a different thing.
So that's how they do with the frequency levels.
Yeah, when it's called the pulse ox, that little red light they put on your finger tells you how much oxygen is inside your cell. It's called Raman spectroscopy, and it's Nobel Prize winning physics. It's measuring frequency. Everything's frequency. Oxygen, these antioxidants, glyphosate, aluminum, calcium, magnesium. You can even say fear and love have a frequency. We don't have a laser to measure that yet, but
we're getting there.
Yeah. So that's what this is measuring for the oxygen. It's the frequency of oxygen with that particular type of light is reflecting and bouncing back to the device and reading it. That's what we've done here. This has been out for 20 years, and we've tested 30 million people. 99% of 30 million people around the world are deficient in antioxidants. We're in the global health crisis. So you have a 30-second test that's more valid than any blood test to tell you if you're at risk or if you're improving your symptoms by increasing your antioxidant levels that also drive all other minerals, vitamins, antioxidants inside the cell.
And all that comes from your everyday lifestyle, correct? Like the way you eat, how much you get sun, how much you go out, how much you ground, and all that good stuff.
Stress. And then the supplement game. It's an unregulated market. So you have all these companies out there that are trying to sell you something. Everyone's talking about athletic greens, this, or, everyone's got their supplement to push and sell. None of these companies have a scientific staff. There's not a single company that has more than 1 or 2 full-time scientists. They contract a scientist to validate some formulation. It's very different when you have lead researchers that left Big Pharma 40 years ago to do the largest nutraceutical startup ever, to buy their own lab equipment so they could test and manufacture the exact same standards as medical and scientific research, and are completely transparent about their testing, sourcing, and extraction methods. They actually partnered with Stanford, have proprietary rights to nutritional studies. It was the first supplement ever to be listed in the physician's desk reference. And that was 40 years ago. And about 5 years ago, after they started, Monsanto tried to buy them. Pfizer tried to buy them. And they said, no, that's where we came from. This was Joseph Chang, Joe Chang, and Carl deGrassi. Joe, those guys, no relation to the Changs, invented statins, invented immunosuppressant therapies for organ transplant, and Carl deGrassi invented birth control. All of them were studying botanical extracts. All of Big Pharma studies plants. Nature's technology. You can't patent that. So they make a synthetic version, and that's how you make a drug, but they have side effects. The real thing doesn't. So that's what they said 40 years ago. Let's do that and create a scientific advisory board of international accreditation, 75 full-time scientists. The largest and most powerful research engine in the supplement game in the planet. They're the number 1 selling supplement in the planet that no one's ever heard of because they don't advertise, and they're not put on AG1, and they're not put on Atia and Joe Rogan, and Huberman podcast. But that's all about the change.
They probably don't have commercials either, like Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and I forgot some of the other ones as well.
And then a lot of like in the finance world, like I feel like a lot of those companies are, S&P 500, really big corporations in like publicly trading markets and things like that. So
we're there. This is a Forbes top 100 company.
There we go.
Publicly traded. They're international. Our market's opening up in India next year.
Nice.
They were purchased by Nu Skin, Pharmanex, instead of Monsanto and Pfizer. And you have the biggest names in research. Lester Packer is the man who coined the term, the researching scientist of oxidative stress and free radicals. He wrote the book on it, literally 70 books. He just retired from our board. A scientist does not have a company to hide behind. If they're involved with something that's shady, all of their scientific research and credibility goes out the window. So you have to ask yourself, why are all these scientists aligned with Pharmanex? Why were they the first supplement to be listed in the physician's desk reference? Because we're telling you we have 100% guarantee to change your lab values. There's no other supplement company that puts their money where their mouth is like that. So that's why I'm proud to teach other doctors, to teach other coaches, to empower themselves. It's how I can help more people and also create a lifestyle for myself. This is sovereignty. This is me creating a career of helping people. That's why I got into the medical system.
So how do you go about teaching this when it does the opposite of what the medical field wants to happen?
It's
like,
great,
how do you go about giving it, like saying this to doctors, selling it to doctor offices and practices when it's doing the opposite of what they want it to do?
It's a great question. And basically the doctors are losing money every single year. Insurance takes 5% on average every year away from a doctor. And it's a really unsustainable business model where they say, see more patients, do more surgeries, prescribe more. And then they're controlled and confined about, I just learned that if they write 5 vaccine exemptions, they're under litigation and can get their license suspended. They have to practice within medical. Supplementation is not medical. And the IRS definition of medicine is anything that is proactive, beneficial to your health. But no doctor is taught that. A doctor can literally prescribe a gym membership. A doctor can prescribe a validated supplement. You can use tax-free dollars to buy your gym membership. You can buy tax-free dollars, a health savings account for a supplement, especially if your doctor prescribes it. You can ask your doctor, anyone, go ask your doctor, prescribe you a gym membership. It's a tax saving. You can write it off for health. So that's how we kind of get around that, because we're not offering something medical. That's why I have to be careful about what I say. I mean, we have all the correlative data in the world. And we have doctors that say, all my patients in my GYN clinic that had HPV has gone into remission with natural supplementation, not cure, remission. All my female clients at my GYN clinic that have PCOS has gone into their symptoms have been improved. So that's how, because we're offering them a way to make cash revenue that's non-medical, but is impacting their health. It's all about the loopholes. It's all about the loopholes. So the test doesn't cost anything. The test costs $20, but most docs are owned by a business, by a hospital system. So they actually cannot get paid for the service. They'll make money off the back end from commissions from supplementation that are clinically validated.
Makes sense.
But a coach can do this too. A gym can do this too. Anyone can. So it's not just docs. It has the most reach because they see they have so many clients. So many patients.
So this is attacking coaches, gyms, doctors' offices, so basically anybody that,
or anyone that's looking for a side hustle or a business, because we need other health visionaries to partner with to help there's only 2,000 of these devices in the US. It is beyond validated. Yale 10-year study of cancer research showing how this is an accurate predictor of cancer. The lower your score, the higher your risk of cancer. Macular degeneration, diabetes, cardiac disease, infertility. The lower your score, the higher risk. It's like a credit score. You're getting close to bankruptcy, but in this case, bankruptcy is a gnarly diagnosis.
Yeah. And then everything you just said, you can remission, I guess, the word I would use.
You can improve the symptoms, or you can enhance the functionality that is being dysfunctional from that diagnosis. There's 1,000 diagnoses that end in the word itis. 1,000 diagnoses that end in the word itis, which means inflammation. If you ask someone what causes that inflammation, you get the shoulder shrug. Oh. Idiopathic. We don't know. Idiocracy, idiopathic. We don't know. It's caused from nutrient deficiency. We do know. They're just not trained to answer that. They have zero training on cellular health and nutrition. 80% of the medical schools have zero requirements for nutrition.
Wow.
Stanford just got a $2 million grant to rewrite their syllabus. Big Pharma funds their whole curricular syllabus. So we can change at the clinical level. This is the legal loophole. I can teach a doc or a coach how to use a prescription pad QR that says, here, take this nutritional supplement that's going to give your body these 50 nutrients that you're not getting from diet and lifestyle, and with these carotenoid antioxidants that help drive them into the cell, clinically proven, and the only test on the planet that can show that. Now you're talking about impacting a lot of people's health. But here's the real kicker. Now we got to see where you're at. Where's your metabolic health at, and test your level. It takes 30 seconds. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it. Let's do it.
I mean, mine's going to be bad. I know that because I'm just not.
Mine's probably not great either. But
yeah, if yours isn't great, then imagine mine, because you're a lot more active and healthy than I am.
yeah.
But it's your physical health is not a marker of your metabolic health. Okay. I love taking this to gyms and like jacked people. I just went to CrossFit Central, one of the head trainers. Horrible score.
Really?
They knew it too. They're like, I don't eat a lot of fruit and vegetables, because they're afraid because of the psyops. You have all these people telling you, carnivore balls, like you have to eat fruits and vegetables. Like, we're supposed to eat all the colors of the rainbow because they provide you these nutrients. They catch our eye for a reason. Oh, look at that red apple. It's tasty. Look at that green pear. It's tasty. Look at that yellow banana. It's tasty. Look at that bright orange bell pepper. Delicious. Those contain so many other nutrients that are packed, you know? It's funny that a food that's grown by the sun is given genetic instructions that interact with us. It's like a barcode, and you scan it and it's like, yeah, this is going to help your prostate. This is going to help your heart. This is going to help your blood sugar level. This is going to help your cognition. That's amazing. That's a miracle that something has instructions to grow from the soil and the sunshine and water that help us be healthy. We're so disconnected from nature. We are nature. And we try to separate ourselves more and more, stay inside, work longer, eat the synthetic stuff, take a synthetic medication, get on Facebook, Instagram more, TikTok more. It's not real. Interact. You said community, building community is so important. Like you need an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Brain rot. That's what I call it. Brain rot. You plug something in, you just.
Alrighty.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
I was super nervous when I did this for the first time because I'm like, I'm a health expert.
Yeah.
How's my score going to be? It was solid. We're expecting our first child. It's a color.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's color coded. So red's the worst score, orange second worst, yellow, green, you're decent. Blue is where you want you to be. 50,000 or higher. We want you to be blue, like a blue zoner.
Yeah.
Purple's even higher than that.
That was what Cooper was talking about, the blue zones of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of them are over there in like Italy and Asia. And
you can have them here. All right.
I'm definitely going to be red. I'm not proud about it. I understand.
So this part of your hand, you're going to rest it right there. And I'm going to, maybe we can zoom in and see this.
Do I cuff it like that?
Yeah, just hold on to it. It's going to take 30 seconds. And it's going to zero in, and it's kind of splitting like a pie, and then it'll hone in and close on one color and give you a number score. So the average American is right here at 28,000. We want you to be blue over here, like a blue zoner. So I think you're going to be a little bit higher than the average American.
Look at you go.
You're going to be in the low 30s is my guess.
So basically wherever it meets at?
And then think that's where you're at.
31?
31,000. Okay. You're good there.
And you said
You want to be shooting for that blue zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're like, what's like you want to shoot for the blue zone, but what's like a good middle? Green.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like you're improving. All the other ones is like we need to improve.
Okay. Got work to do.
That's what I do though. I'm here to help teach you.
Yeah, Mom's gonna tell me you can go do something right now.
Calibrating again. This device used to take up an entire lab. this machine.
That's crazy.
Wow.
The first machine was about the size of the original Xbox or an old computer. And it took 3 hours to calibrate. It takes 1 minute to calibrate now.
Technology. No, it's so simple and small, and
Yeah, I know. I bet that was insane. The engineering.
so it doesn't matter which hand. Okay.
Look quickly.
30 seconds, the credit score on your health. Now it's funny because it can change, right? Even if it's high, it can go low if you have bad lifestyle. The more stress you have, the more you burn through more of your nutrients.
Probably me.
And it's the higher your antioxidants, the easier it is to break down stress hormones, the lower inflammation you have in your brain. Every single neurodiagnosis, anxiety, depression, ADHD, all have neuroinflammation.
23,000.
23,000.
So I'm where most Americans are.
Yes, that's correct.
So we get this read. I'm orange. He's yellow.
Yeah.
What does that like tell us, and like how does that like where does that tell us that we need to improve on? Is there like certain things we need to improve on, or is that like that the what'd you call it, the
Antioxidants?
Yes, is that like what you just need to improve on in general?
Yep. When you improve antioxidants, nothing works in isolation. Nature's an ecosystem. So a banana doesn't just have potassium in it. It has fiber. It has these other things in it. All food is packed full of different things, and that's why we need a variety of food. We're supposed to eat seasonally too, you know? So number one is eat more fruits and vegetables. Eat more colors of fruits and vegetables, period. Number two, stop eating processed food. Anything that's processed. All this seed oil, it's refined seed oil, processed food oil. When you're buying anything in a package that has any kind of flavoring on it, that flavoring is stuck on there with seed oil. And we're having an oversaturation of omega-6 highly refined processed seed oil, which causes inflammation. We have no omega-3 in our diet. So increase your antioxidants, increase your omega-3s, move your body, manage your stress, measure again in 30 to 60 days and track your progress. Test didn't hurt. Took 30 seconds.
No. Yeah, no.
Now you know this is preventative medicine. Yeah. This is preventative healthcare. Preventative healthcare is not only sustainable, but it's profitable. It costs the company $2 to run that test. And on average, we charge about $20 for the test. That's nothing. You pay for more than that in your labs. Mm-hmm. And those labs are not telling you definitively if you're at cellular starvation, if you're at risk for metabolic disease. They're trying to say, oh, you have something, here's, it's downstream. Here's something, take a pill for it. No, let's talk about your diet. Let's talk about that. So now we're also have systems in place for doctors, coaches, and gyms or health businesses where we've built out an entire ecosystem because they don't have time to teach. So now you're Dr. Johnson. I'm going to give you Dr. Johnson a whole email program that teaches all of your email list, all of your clients about metabolic health, about eye health, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, about breast cancer, about prostate health, about sleep health, all these lifestyle interventions like don't look at your screen, all that stuff, like turn off your lights. And also here, saffron, theanine, all these things that clinically validated to improve your sleep. Here's something that you can take that the doctor is then going to make money on, or the coach is going to make money on, creating passive income for them and giving them time back. That's the big thing, is none of us have time anymore. And they're taught to just go, and just see another patient, write another prescription. But you can also hand them a prescription pad for a supplement that's clinically validated, that's listed in the physician's desk reference, that we know works, that was guaranteed to increase that score.
Wow. So
do you recommend like eating your fruits and vegetables rather than drinking, like just blending and like making it into a smoothie? Or would you recommend just like
I love smoothies. I have a smoothie almost every day, but I also eat a ton of fruit, a ton of vegetables. And in my opinion, you have to supplement in this modern world. Our food, the crops, are 40% less nutrient dense than they were, almost half, 40, 50 years ago.
Wow.
Because our topsoil is gone. That is the gut of the planet. That's how the planet breathes. That's how the planet recycles all of its nutrition. Topsoil is dead because of monocrop agriculture. When we have soy and canola and corn as our biggest crops, that's how you make all that seed oil. And that's why it's put in everything. But it's depleted the nutrients in the soil. So eating an orange today has almost half of the nutrition of the vitamin C that everyone goes to an orange for is not in there. Supplementation is needed. And on top of that, we have more poisons, more toxins in our environment than ever. We have more radiation, more EMF than ever. Your body can naturally process EMF and radiation with vitamin C, with vitamin E, with glutathione, with melatonin. Your melatonin helps recycle your E and C. But you produce less melatonin as you age. You're not getting it from your diet. Everyone's deficient. So everyone talks about like, what's the best magnesium or get your vitamin C. No, you need all of it. Nothing works in isolation. You don't take one thing and it just works on your liver. It's also going to work on the rest of your body.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a few questions, too, in regards to this.
I only have one more, so go ahead and ask the questions.
So when it comes to this, there's obviously the different colors and things like that. Mm-hmm. How fast, relatively, could someone in the red get to the blue or purple?
I mean, that's a great question. It's happened, I mean, from the red to the blue, it can happen in 3 months.
Wow.
That's pretty quick.
But everyone's different.
Yeah, that's true.
How fast can you make those lifestyle changes? That's the hardest thing to measure is diet, because people lie. People say they're working out. You know, you go to the doctor. Yeah, I work out. Yeah, I eat right. Yeah. But now we have a lie detector test. The funny thing is supplementation is clinically validated. I don't like to say this, but technically you can take clinically validated supplementation that Pharmanex makes. Doesn't matter if you change your diet, it's still going to improve your antioxidant score. But you're going to be a lot more healthy, exponentially more healthy if you change your diet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then how it has the different colors broken off. Is there like a quick, like, I would say for like the doctors that are running these tests or the gyms that are running these tests, is there like a quick like graph of like, okay, you're in the orange, this is what you need to do to get to the next level, and then like vice versa, like just like a list, like a quick list of items to kind of like get to each level?
It's a great question. We made it really simple for people. Number one, you want to work on someone's budget. It's not free. I wish it was.
Yeah.
But Life Pack, it's called Life Pack for a reason. It's a life pack. It's giving you over 40 nutrients, phytonutrients, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, carotenoids. That's the base. Life Pack Nano, a little bit more expensive, covers more bases, includes omega-3s also. Beyond that, then you're just really talking to them saying, what's going on with you? Is it GI? Is it gut issue? Is it brain fog? Are you having trouble sleeping? And then there's specific supplementation that's geared towards that. Healing comes in 3 phases: crisis, intervention, and preventative maintenance. Crisis is, I got a diagnosis, I have an infection, I broke a bone. That's where modern medicine is amazing. You get in a car wreck, take me to the hospital. You know, I have an infection.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need something powerful.
Yeah.
Though you can make your own antibiotics with garlic and honey in a jar and keep it in a dark room. Everyone should do that. It's about to be flu season. Side note, it's not really flu season. It's football season. It's Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Eat more sugar, drink more alcohol season. Your body's just detoxing. But then you're just talking to the patient. What do they need? Do we need to attack GI? Do we need to attack female reproductive health? Are they trying to get pregnant? Are they in menopause or after menopause? Do we need to work on your prostate? Life Pack and Life Pack Nano help with all those things. That's the preventative maintenance. That's the foundation. I have what's called a foundational metabolic protocol. Everyone does. That's the beauty of this, is we all think it's so complicated, but my GYN doctors, my orthopedic surgeons, my neuro docs, my hormone specialist, all of them, Life Pack and Life Pack Nano.
Okay. And this is crazy. One more that I was thinking about just throughout the podcast, people with like ADHD ADD, things like that. They, you know, prescribe Adderall and, you know, other supplements like that. I feel like most people with these ailments think I just need to take these things and it's not maybe, you know, nutrient dense or diet dense or anything like that. I was curious to ask you, like, how much does that type of like diet and things affect things like that?
Massive. So ADHD, doctors are trained to prescribe. Your kids, you know, a little depressed, give them SSRI. If they have ADHD, but what is ADHD? Attention deficit disorder. So there's two sides to this because everything is collected, your physical health and your mental health. It's a coping mechanism in part. If I'm an adult and you're a baby or you're a small child and you feel unsafe because of the way that I'm talking to you or that you're witnessing what's going on in the home, what do? You're too small to fight back, to protect yourself. So what do? You shut down. You find other things to look at, to distract yourself with constantly. It's a protective coping mechanism, and that is well studied in psychology. The other side of that is what I said earlier, ADHD, anxiety, depression. They all have neuro inflammation. Your brain is swelling because it's trying to drive more nutrients into it, and you have too many toxins in there causing inflammation as well. So yes, when you nourish the brain, when you nourish any cell in the body, it starts to work better. So LifePak Nano help with that. But now you can also target mitochondrial health. We have what's called Vitality or R squared day. It works on 52 genes in the mitochondria and resets them to a more youthful expression that's measurable with clinical data. That's insane. 52 genes that work just on the mitochondria. That does a lot of things for you. That reduces brain fog, lets you think more clear, improves memory, but it also increases your VO2 max. We have athletes that are pro-level athletes that now have a higher VO2 max because they're taking a nutritional supplement. But it also works on muscle, cardiac, muscle, and brain mitochondria. So you can target certain things with that, but you can also do the other end of the spectrum, have someone be more calm. Magnolia bark and lots of other things in Chinese medicine that we actually study. Pharmanex, side note, also studies traditional Chinese medicine with a $150 million facility in China with full-time scientists studying herbs. It's an American company. We study them here too, but we have two major research engines. So there's a lot of herbs that have a calming effect. I mean, lavender works on your serotonin receptors, but there's nutritional extracts. An extract is 1,000 more times more potent than you could possibly get by eating the food. That's traditional and Ayurvedic medicine. So we've westernized it and taken lineage knowledge. So we know that there are things that we can do to make you feel more calm. I was stressed out this morning. I took it's literally called Calm. And it's not alcohol.
The gummies?
No. This is a product that we have.
Oh, okay. Because I know they're like, I've seen Calm
like
gummies.
Calm, like the nighttime drink.
Yeah.
We have a supplement that doesn't make you sleepy, that just makes you feel calm, that has insane clinical data on. So you can attack it from, always got a mind and body, right? So you have to learn how to cope and manage your emotions, but then you also need to give your body the right things. And so we help educate and provide a whole platform for coaches or doctors to help educate themselves. And we teach them. We teach them every week. We have training calls. Ask questions here. We don't make money off of that. I'm incentivized to help you succeed, to help a doctor succeed, to help a coach succeed, to help a medical sales rep or someone who wants to get into this succeed. That's creating community. That's creating impact and change, not just handing someone an affiliation and saying, good luck, get out there and do your job.
Yeah.
Like, no, let me help you. Let me teach you personally, me and my team. I'm here for you. That's creating community, education, awareness.
Yeah, I mean, my last question was kind of what he asked, because earlier you said antidepressants is really high in today's day and age, and then so is anxiety and anxiety medication.
Yeah.
And the other big thing right now is the shot. So I was going to ask, like, what are your thoughts on like the anxiety medication, which you kind of already answered, and then the shot? Because I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not a fan of just, I guess you would just call them drugs in general.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of them. I like every time I'm sick, I don't ever like take them because I'm always, I don't know. I just always have always been. And then someone asked me like what to like lose weight. I was like, why don't you just like get on the shot? You're probably pre-diabetic, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like,
oh, you're talking about like Ozempic?
Like stuff like that.
I was like, which shot are we talking about? There's a lot of crazy shots going on in this world right now.
And I'm just like, I would just rather do it naturally. That's how I am. I'm just like the natural. So like when I was playing football, I never like took pre-workout or protein stuff because I'd rather just do it naturally. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I don't want to, like, I wouldn't just want to get on it to lose weight. Like, I would rather try going to the gym first and changing my diet to lose weight than to just get...
There's a time and a place for big guns. If I have an infection, if someone's like 200 pounds overweight, they have to be monitored and they have to be given the right things nutritionally at the same time. But that's not how the system works. The company that owns Ozempic is a European company. There are tighter regulations for everything, but including how to use that drug in Europe. Wegovy is now the most expensive stock to own in Europe because 90% of their business is in America. 10% of their business is in the rest of the world. 90% of Ozempic's business is in America. And now pediatricians, first line of clinical algorithm, they're overweight, put them on Ozempic. A child. Lifelong prescription. But what are the side effects of those things? Well, it's gut motility and depression. Because if you're not feeding your gut, if you're actually not eating the correct food, you're not making serotonin, which is your happy hormone. Literally, serotonin is what makes you feel love and good. Dopamine is a quick hit. That sucks drugs and rock and roll and our red lights and our notifications. But serotonin, you cannot release quickly. It's a slow, continuous release. So if you're not eating, the bacteria in your gut that make 100% of your serotonin are not making serotonin. Number one side effect is depression from Ozempic. You also have increased risk of cancer. You also have increased risk of gut problems because you're slowing down your digestion, not eating, causing a gut injury. And it bounces back. As soon as you're off that, the weight comes back. But on top of that, it's not, if you look at people that are taking that, they're not just losing weight. They're starving.
Yeah, you can see it like in the face, Ozempic face.
They're losing bone density. Your body is starving, so it's pulling nutrients from your muscle, from your fat deposits, from your bones. Serious side effects. And that means all your hormones get out of whack. Your hormones are the only thing that communicate with your DNA. Genetic instructions. So every chakra center is also where all your hormone-producing organs are. Lineage knowledge, they knew this. That's why it has more nerve bundles because they're really complex organs. So when you're on Ozempic, everything gets out of whack. It should never be the first line defense. There's a time and a place for big guns, but there are nutritional supplementations that mimic caloric restriction. Age Lock Youth works on 1,000 genes that have to do with aging, increases glutathione levels in the brain to help with neuro inflammation and anxiety, depression, ADHD, but it also mimics caloric restriction. I am literally less hungry when I take that supplement because I'm getting nourished with super nutrients that are found all over the world that are impossible to get through diet because I'd have to travel to every continent. So let's exhaust a natural approach before jumping to that. But it's a cash cow. So it's like the new metformin for diabetes. It's like the new ACE inhibitor for blood control. It's like the new statin to reduce cholesterol. None of those drugs have curbed any of those diagnoses or diseases. All of those diseases are worse than they've ever been. Obesity is not going to go away because of Ozempic. It's just going to create more problems like every other drug has.
Yeah. And most people who get on those don't end up changing their diet. They don't. They continue to eat the same way. They continue to live life the same way.
They want the right now. They want the quick fix.
Yeah,
the quick fix.
My parents, they were both on it. I don't know if they're on it anymore, But my dad is diabetic and my mom was pre-diabetic. They're both heavy set people, and now they're not. But they did change. Like they eat healthy now. That's all they eat is healthy.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That's they'll eat unhealthy every now and then, but for the most part, it's smaller portions. They usually share a plate when they go out to eat, and it's all healthy.
Oh, I love to hear that, man. Yeah. That's a success story. The world needs more of that.
Yeah.
Like there's a time and a place, but it was them. They had the mindset. They made the lifestyle changes. Mm-hmm. They just used something to get there a little quicker.
Yeah.
I don't personally see anything wrong with that.
And they work out now.
But exactly. Most people won't do that. They want the quick thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it just like, you see it online and you just see like all these stories and like transformation. It's like, oh, I just got to pay this. And kind of what he was saying in a way earlier, like with America being like lazy, but just conditioned with like, oh, there's an answer, there's a quick solution, as opposed to going in depth, doing research on it, seeing all the side effects like you were mentioning, and understanding like, okay, I could get there quicker, but I also could deal with these other side effects. Let me at least, like you said, there's a time and place for big guns, but let me at least try and do it the natural way.
Yeah.
Slow progression, being able to, eat right, supplement right, work out, take the necessary steps. Yeah. And to get there. So,
and that's what I meant by lazy is we don't want to do the research to understand these things. Yeah. We want the DoorDash. We want it brought to us. Yeah. We don't want to have to go out of our house to go get it. That's what I mean by lazy. We don't want to do all those research.
Consumerism and capitalism 101. Just give them a quick fix. That's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
If your doctor's not talking to you about diet and exercise, he's just prescribing meds. He's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Or she. Like they're just pushing the
legalized
medication.
Drug dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last thing that I just thought of is there's been I met some people that they do like some things with water, like hydrogen water, and I watched Gary Brecka, one of his pods. He had like this like bottle. It's like $400 or $500. You can like hydrogen filtered water and things like that. I was curious how much of that or how much of drinking that high quality water actually affects you positively, or how much of it is just like kind of like
blowing smoke up the ass.
And just like, because I hear people's like, oh, stay away from plastics, which does make sense and stuff like that. But I was just curious.
I mean, plastic's a huge deal. Hydrogen's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. The problem is, like you mentioned, Gary Brecka. You don't know how authentic what he's offering is. Is he going to help people? Yes. Has he helped people? Yes. But he's charging hundreds of dollars for MTFR genetic mutation testing. If you go do 23andMe or self-decode, it's a $120 test, a $100 test at the Thanksgiving or Christmas. It'll tell you those same results. So when you have someone that's that heavily marketed, they're in it for the money. But is he still helping people? Yes. Huberman and Tia are still helping people, but they're promoting things like athletic greens that actually are harmful, that some of the top scientists in the country, top 30 cited scientists in the country have said no different than a Costco vitamin, no different than a Flintstone vitamin, which is still better than nothing. But there's actually a whole subreddit of people who have been injured because they've taken athletic greens for too long.
That's crazy. So
when you're talking about hydrogen water, it's like the supplement game I'm talking about. There's a lot of heavy marketing on stuff, but when you really deep dive into the engineering and the physics, what it takes to make hydrogen water the correct way, 99% of the stuff that's on the market is a complete scam. So I haven't looked into his specific, but I have looked into hydrogen water extensively. It's amazing.
Okay.
Japan studies hydrogen more than any other country. They actually have hydrogen gas on their ambulances. When you have a stroke or heart attack, they give you hydrogen gas. You are H2O. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. Hydrogen is a massive free radical scavenger. So what does that mean? Hydrogen is number 1 on the periodic table. It's the smallest atom. It has 1 electron floating around it. So it's a gas. It can get anywhere in the body. If you have a way to make stable hydrogen water, or there's devices that also just make hydrogen gas for you and you can breathe, you're decreasing inflammation everywhere. It's not replacing nutrition. It's not giving you antioxidants. It is an antioxidant. But the antioxidants we're talking about through nutrition and supplementation become a part of your cell for 60 to 90 days. actually every organ is around differently. These one in your hand just cycle over every 60 to 90 days. The technology does not exist to do a laser into your liver, to do a laser into your thyroid or your heart to see its antioxidant status. That's why we measure your oxygen on your finger and we measure your antioxidants on your hand. So hydrogen water is powerful. Clean water is powerful. There's so many clever marketing gimmicks. I don't know if y'all remember when HD TV came out. Mm-hmm. You had to have a new antenna. Mm-hmm. Everything was HD. Mm-hmm. You could buy HD sunglasses, HD Nikes, HD spatula to cook with. It's clever marketing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so everyone in the supplement game does the same thing. Unregulated. They're not talking about the validity of how those supplements are made, sourced. Same thing with the hydrogen machines, the hydrogen water machines. You really have to learn how to speak a different language. You go to a lawyer because they speak legal language. I learned how to speak medical language. Now I know how to speak scientific language as well as philosophical and spiritual language. You had to understand these things because there's a psyops, a connotation on language. So when you have someone saying, Paul Sandino, carnivore MD, holding a piece of broccoli saying it's bullshit because of isocyanates, no one can spell that word. No one knows what that means, but he's speaking passionately about it and saying these isocyanates are damaging to your thyroid. He cherry-picked one study that looked at an impossible dose to get when those isocyanates are the most studied natural immunotherapy known to man. People have gut dysbiosis and they can't handle breaking down cruciferous vegetables sometimes. But if you heal your gut, your tolerances change. Clever marketing. It all comes down to greed and marketing. So it's hard to understand. You don't know who to trust. Mm-hmm. And we all blindly trust the person that's speaking the most passionately. If I'm up here saying isocyanates are deadly and blah, 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 and I'm saying it passionately. You know who else said things passionately? Hitler. We're also starved of authenticity that we fall victim to the person who's speaking the most passionately about something. Mm-hmm. And we don't understand the words they're saying. So we're like, I get the gist of what he's saying. I guess I'm going to go with him because he sounds smarter than me. Mm-hmm. That's laziness, is not taking it upon yourself to do your own homework or to find someone you trust in a credible source. I mean, we're sovereign. And you can't judge someone where they're at on their journey of health or spirituality, but to be authentic with compassion, to truly want to help another human, not out of a place of greed, but of empowerment. I'm not a healer. I don't heal anyone. I give you the education so you heal yourself. That's what it is. You are empowering yourself to shift your perspective about your diet, about your lifestyle, about how you move your body, about your trauma, your triggers. That's you. I can't do that for you. I can talk and I can help you shift that perspective. The word vulnerability, it means to share one's preference and the pain of that preference, to be free of the pain. But you got to be careful who you share to, because a lot of people are going to judge you and throw it back in your face. Mm. But if you're truly a philosophical human or a spiritual or religious human, they teach compassion. You're supposed to accept something. And that's the problem that we're in now, is we think that science is not questionable. Everyone that's paid for on the same team to profit off your sickness has an agenda that they're pushing. And if you question it, then you're a heretic. But science is not religion. And true religion is compassionate. And true scientist welcomes a challenge. So if someone is just writing you off and being like, oh, no, that's crap. It's like, you have to speak to them with compassion. What about it is crap? What would you like to understand about what I'm saying? And that's a scientist, a philosopher, a religious person, is meeting them at their pain. But if they are not willing to meet you at your pain, then that's their lesson to learn.
But this was a great sit down conversation. Saying it off camera, but one of these pods where I feel like we could just sit here for like 3-5 hours, like just talking all kinds of topics, picking your brain, learning. And that's why we want to do this too, is for the listener or viewer. Make sure you guys watch it too, just to see kind of the test and stuff like that. But just to learn and kind of getting the information. And I'm sure this won't be the last time we do this. Want to talk more in depth about, the supplements, and then even just further down the line, like a year or two later from now, like once this is really going in the market, and just kind of the feedback and, some of the case studies and, testimonies that people have experienced from this. So just can't thank you enough. Shout out to Matt and Leo for having the dinner where I was able to meet Ryan, and then, was blessed just to sit by you. And then before we were eating dinner, I was just like, I got to interview him at some point, like just the conversation going back and forth. And then glad that Carlos was able to meet you and learn some things too, because I've been telling him about you since we got the pod scheduled, and I was like, you're gonna really like this interview. Dude knows what he's talking about, and he's really there to serve and help people. So that's like the biggest takeaway, because I feel like a lot of people can kind of get like high and mighty, or I went to school, learned all this, or I put the work and hours in and learned all this, but you can tell that it comes from a place of serving and being genuine to give that feedback and knowledge to others. So truly thank you and commend you for the conversation. It was great.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Like you said, it won't be the last time. I definitely want to run it back again soon, because like I could sit here for hours and just ask questions and listen, just because. I mean, I'm from a Mexican household, and then typically in a Mexican, or I guess a minority household, I would say, none of this stuff is just, it's not taught, it's not talked about, it's not brought up. Exercising isn't a thing, eating healthy isn't a thing. It's just basically just live your life, essentially. That's why you see, like, especially because the Mexican food, but you see a lot of like Mexicans just obese, just because for one, their food isn't healthy, and for two, it's just they work hard and then go home, drink a beer, eat food, do it all over again. So it's as we get older, and as we have the resources to talk to these people, I have my own brain, and I can understand what is what. It's nice to like learn these things and get the knowledge of what you need to do to be healthier.
Well, I mean, thank you guys for having me. This is your creation. This is your vessel. And you're helping people in a massive way, because you're providing all these different perspectives on all these areas of life. Health isn't just nutrition and mental health. It's also your financial freedom. It's also your creation and expression. We're also part of the universe. We're all nature. And whatever you believe about creation and consciousness, our consciousness drives everything. We can change our genetic expression with the way we think. So if we all come from this source of consciousness and creation, the best thing we can do in our life is to create. That's how we show appreciation for our Creator. So you're creating a platform of free speech about all these topics in life that people need to hear about. They need education and access to the same pillars I have: education and access. So thank you for allowing me to share what I'm passionate about, what I'm trying to create in the world is possible because of what you're creating in the world. So thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, I appreciate you taking time out your day. I'm glad we're able to get this done with the hiccups that we've had in the past.
For sure.
Like I said, it won't be the last time. I appreciate you. Again, congratulations on your baby.
Thank you.
Congratulations on getting this out and moving it forward. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for you and see how this goes.
Yeah, and I guess where can everyone find you at on social media and things like that? _holistic _hub is where my Instagram is. If you're on Facebook, it's holistic_hub. You can find my website about the scanner at holistichub.gethealthyusa.com. And we have mountains of evidence, research, studies, testimonials from doctors, webinars. We do free training, free. It's $50. You can come meet PhDs, doctors, providers, other people in the business, learn about how to make a sustainable shift to preventative health care, and honestly have a very comfortable lifestyle doing it.
Nice.
All right, cool.
Alrighty. Well, that'll do it from our boys over here at Opinionated Media. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Peace.